Have you ever met someone who prefers staying home on a Friday night? Let's discuss in this video.
All right, today we're going to dive into a really fascinating psychological trait, one that gets misunderstood all the time. We're going to get into the science behind what it really means to enjoy your own company. So let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself genuinely wanting a quiet evening at home, maybe with a good book, instead of going to some loud, crowded party? If you're nodding along right now, then you are in exactly the right place. You know, the thing is, when you make that choice, society can be pretty quick to slap a label on you. People might call you antisocial, or they just assume you must be lonely. But here's the question. What if that's just completely wrong? What if there's a psychological framework that doesn't just explain why you feel this way, but actually frames it as a sign of incredible emotional strength? And that's where this idea comes in, solitude capacity. And listen, the subtitle says it all, right? This isn't about being lonely. It's about being self-sufficient. So let's break this down, because this idea flips those old labels on their head. The myth says you're antisocial. The reality, you just might need less external stimulation. The myth says you're lonely. The reality, you're emotionally self-sufficient. It's not about being avoidant. It's about having this amazing capacity for solitude. So what exactly is solitude capacity? Well, at its heart, it's the ability to be alone and feel genuinely happy about it. But the crucial part, the real game changer, is the why. It's not because you're afraid of people. It's because you feel whole on your own. Now, this isn't just some nice-sounding phrase we made up. The whole idea of solitude capacity is actually built on 3 solid psychological pillars. So let's dig into each one. Okay, pillar number 1, the autotelic personality. This is all about where you get your sense of purpose and enjoyment. Basically, if you have an autotelic personality, you find joy in the activity itself. You don't need a gold star or a bunch of likes on social media to feel good about it. You just enjoy doing the thing. The joy comes from the act of coding or painting or getting lost in a good book. That drive is coming from inside you. All right, moving on to pillar number 2, and for this one, we're going to get a little nerdy and talk about the brain. It all comes down to something called sensory gating. So what is sensory gating? Think of it like a bouncer for your brain. It's standing at the door of your mind, deciding which sensory information gets in and which stuff gets ignored as just noise. If you have really good sensory gating, your brain is a master at filtering out all the junk. And the effect of that is huge, because your brain is working so efficiently, you don't need a fire hose of external stuff to feel engaged. A quiet room isn't boring to you, it's perfect. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, your internal compass. In psychology, this is known as your locus of control. Put simply, having an internal locus of control means you believe you're the one steering the ship of your life. Your wins, your losses, they're mostly on you. And most importantly, your self-worth, that comes from your own judgment, not from what everyone else is saying about you. Just think about how different that is. Someone with an external locus is always looking outside for validation, right? They're checking for likes, fishing for compliments. But when your locus is internal, that approval comes from you. You set the standards, which is incredibly freeing. So let's put it all together. You've got the autotelic personality, which gives you purpose from within, so you're not bored. You have sensory gating, which means your brain is efficient and doesn't need constant noise. And you have an internal locus of control, which means you validate yourself. You're not looking for approval. See how they all fit? That's the architecture of solitude capacity. So at the end of the day, the big takeaway is this. Enjoying your own company isn't a flaw. It's not a bug in your system. When it's built on these psychological foundations, it's actually a sign of incredible psychological strength. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In a world that just keeps getting louder and more demanding, what if your preference for solitude isn't some weakness you need to fix, but is actually your superpower?
I hope you like the video and keep watching us and subscribe our channel. Thanks.